Let's concentrate on something fun.
Let's do the thing.
For a little while.
We're gonna do the thing because it's Friday, which means hello everyone. It is time for another Paint and Slay. I am Vee. Above me is Lauren, and today we are heading back over. I was gonna say jump on, but it's kind of too small. It's a big mini, but it's not that big. We're gonna head back over to working on the lovely. Hold on, my lighting got weird because we already hit the light before we got live. We're going to keep working on the young black dragon from WizKids D&D Nolzur's marvelous miniatures. But before we get into finishing up this fellow, Lauren, what can everyone expect to find revolving around the game this week as we get into the weekend?
Well, there was a new champion who went live very, very recently. Look, it's Dynahair. It's Fleet Squeak. It is also the final event the original version of events, which is still a lot of fun, and you should absolutely be logging in and getting Dynahair and putting together an entire formation filled with the heroes of Baldur's Gate and making Mince a tank and having lots of fun. And also throwing all the fireballs and the lightning. Fireballs and lightning. Very, very frightening. Is so much fun. Is super fun.
Fireballs and lightning, very, very frightening me.
It's a Dynahair. It's a Dynahair. It's a Dynahair. It's a Dynahair. That's as far as I'm going. So yes, make sure that you are getting yourself gear for Dynahair and the other two champions who I think are on the tip of my tongue and I've forgotten. But you know what? There's 3 champions you can go and get gear for, and you should absolutely be doing that. Also, because it is Friday, there is going to be a newsletter going out very, very, very shortly, or in a couple of hours, depending. And so, yeah, it's going to be the Compatriots Call weekend, which gives buffs to all of those awesome champions, including Solok, who Gabe Hicks was just on Idle Insights yesterday talking about not just Solok, but also his awesome Undead Knight Solok, which the best thing about it, which I didn't get a chance to talk about too much, but we talked extensively about this skin, Levitz also changes. So if you pick up the skin, not only do you get Undead Solok and Undead Tempest, you get tiny little Undead Levitts, and they're kind of undead adorable. I love it. Anyway, you'll be getting a newsletter in the next couple of hours that will include a free gold calling chest so that you can gear up a couple heroes and then also use these heroes in their boosted form to help you do all of the fun things. And then I know there's probably a lot of people who have us on in a separate window right now because they're probably looking at a blog that just went live that we've been talking about for a fair number of weeks. The Idle Champions Guide and a Collection Quest blog has gone live. I will go ahead and put it in the chat. If you are listening to this after the fact, just go to the front page of idlechampions.com. You will be able to see it. It's going to have lots of awesome information about something that we're really excited about that is probably going to help a lot of people in the game, especially like the guide quests for newer players and the collection quests, because who doesn't like to know what they've collected over all the years of playing? You know, like Belswin, who's apparently collecting gift subs. Thank you for all those lovely gift subs.
Belswin's collecting viewers.
Exactly. Belswin's collecting those emotes that you get for gifting subs. So thank you for that. And so, yeah, if I won't blame anybody if you're listening to us and hanging out and then also reading that blog. But if you want to wait until after the show, that's where you can find out all the information. That goes live next week. And we are very, very excited. So definitely go check that out and have fun this weekend gearing up Dynahair.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so with all that said and done, we're moving into part 4, episode 9. Oh my gosh, almost to episode 100.
We're getting so close that we should probably talk about that.
Yeah, we should. So we're gonna keep going with this lovely Dargan. This Zoom I'm gonna be not the Zoom, but the focus I'm gonna be toggling around in because we're kind of focusing on the up close and personal details of the dragon. It's always like the dragon from far out. So we started the week before, getting this part of the wing taken care of. Basically the webbing area that looks very leathery and has this fantastic texture. So we're actually going to keep going around and doing that with the dragon. Again, that was using from the
The
D&D
Displacer
Prismatic
Beast?
Paint Sense. Yep. This
Ah.
Displacer Beast, which is sort of like that Williamsburg blue for a general color term, if you want that. It's like, this is a very classic color that you'll find, like, if you go into Home Depot or Lowe's and say, I'd like a Williamsburg blue. They're
Oh,
going to
okay.
aim you towards something like this.
I was about to say I don't know if I know that reference, but that
It's,
makes a little more
yeah.
sense.
That's growing up with an interior decorator as a mother. So going to put some of that on my plate, but then the important thing is to make sure you thin this down so it's almost glaze-like, because we're not looking to make this a full opacity coverage, because we do want it to be slightly lighter so it's not turning this into a very blue winged dragon. That's not the point.
Yeah.
We're basically treating this as a way to get into the recesses of all that fantastic leathery detail, and then we're going to be doing an overbrush with a grayer tone is basically what the game is going to be.
Yeah.
Where's my dropper?
Also,
There's my dropper.
totally forgot to say we do have the awesome Gabe in chat as our
Yay!
moderator. If you do have any questions about Idle Champions or mini painting, go ahead and put those in chat with question in big capital letters, so that Gabe can grab it, so that when I am busy grabbing paints and doing things, I don't miss your question. I will say, if you do have questions about the guide and collection quest, we might just say, hey, go read the blog.
Yeah.
That's not because we don't want to answer your question. As Vee and I were talking about ahead of time, we've seen a bunch of versions of that blog. And so we want to make sure that you're getting the most accurate and up-to-date information. And so at this very moment, instead of me trying to remember off the top of my head new things and all of that, I'm just going to point you in that direction to make sure that I'm getting you to the right things.
Yeah. So as you can see, when I go and I test this on my wrist, it's not coming off where it's completely obliterating my skin tone underneath. That's when you know you have the right consistency for this. So I got the back of this wing done. So I'm going to flip it over and keep going with the front portion of the wing and just apply this to where we basically haven't put paint in yet.
Yep,
Very tricky, I know.
I'm still on one side of one wing, so
Totally fine.
so yeah, but I love this color, so I'm happy. I'm not in any hurry,
No, not at all.
which is good.
I gotta say though, I was having fun with the flail snail last week. I can't wait to finish up that one too.
I am super excited about getting to those
The flails?
specifically the multicolored
Oh yeah,
paint
yeah, the
stuff
prismatic
that
paints,
we're
yeah.
yeah,
Or not the,
I'm
the,
so excited.
No, we are using prismatic paints right now. The Delta
Whatever.
Ceram Coat Flash Metallic. That's what it is. Flash Metallic.
There we
Or
go.
the Folk Art Color Shift.
Yeah,
Which set you bought.
because that's one of the coolest things about
Yeah.
the art of that snail is its shell, and also like we were talking about the other week, the powers of that snail is its shell, and so cool, very cool.
Really, really cool.
But I'm also like I'm happy to be here working on the Dargan because
Oh, I'm excited.
yeah,
I really
although
am.
I
Especially
just got so excited that I put blue where I didn't want blue to go.
Oh, no.
So I'm just gonna
Well,
fix that
luckily
real quick.
it's thin enough. You should be able to blot it up quickly.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I posted a notification about the show on my Instagram account, and a couple of people have commented on, "Oh, it's looking great." I'm like, wait until you see the end, because I can't wait for the base and the dragon to be reunited, because what we're doing to the base is going to be a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that should be a further enhancement, because these black dargans, they like to live in swampy environments.
The fun thing about the base, beyond it just being a fun plan that we have, we've kind of been waiting to do what we're about to do for months. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even remember exactly when you sent me the plant stuff, but I remember it coming and being like, "Oh, this is gonna be cool.
Yeah.
This is gonna be real cool." And then, so I'm excited to finally bust those out and have a schwamp going on. Why do I keep? Here I am trying to grab a small brush so that I don't paint on the black, and yet here I am also painting on the black. And Belswin, who says my dragon doesn't look as good as V's.
Aw.
I mean, first off, if you're having fun, that's all that really
That's,
matters.
yeah.
Second off, you have to remember V's been doing this for way longer than any of us. So, like, as long as you're happy with your progress,
Exactly.
that's the important thing. Um, because we're all learning here, especially me. As I'm gonna now go in with a smaller brush and if I can see if I can not paint everything blue.
Yeah.
Not that this isn't an awesome color.
It really is a nice one.
And we don't know yet. I'm
Hmm?
guessing we're probably not going to finish the Dargan today.
I think we might finish the Dargan. It may be the base we just get started on, and we'll
Mm,
work on the base next week and the flail snail. Is
yeah.
where I'm kind of seeing this going, to be honest.
Yep. So, if you were painting along on the flail snail with us last week, we will be continuing the flail snail as soon as we're done with the Dargan. And like V was just saying, there's a non-zero chance we will at least be getting back to the flail snail next week. So,
Yeah.
there might be multiple there might be multiple creatures on my desk all getting painted next week, and I'm here for it.
Welcome to my world. What was the blue thing with just some water? Guccilini. Guccilini? Guccilini? I'm just playing around.
Goo chill. Yeah, I mean that's yeah. Yep, just lots and lots of water. Well, I mean
Not
a
lots, and a
fair bit
couple
of water.
drops.
Yeah.
Couple drops of water to a couple drops of the paint, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do brush water like Felsom. Not brush water. This is, I have a little
Mm-hmm.
dropper, nice little cleaned out empty bottle. I cleaned out the bottle myself and all that good stuff, and I fill it up with water now. I also have a dropper style bottle that I'll use when I need to do other projects. It's not hyaluronic acid. This is water in here. I'm just too lazy to take the label off.
But it definitely makes it
Fancy.
more impressive, more
I
more
guess.
scary. More scary. It's like, oh, look. And now you'll be using on the Dargan hydro something acid.
Hyaluronic acid.
Hyaluronic. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not hydrochloric. I got
Oh
first
God,
half.
no.
Nope.
Considering that stuff you normally put on your face, I hope not.
Ugh.
No tenko. God.
Yeah, I've just gotten into the habit of having 2 cups of water on my desk, one for water and one to clean brushes,
Exactly.
and trying to remember to
Which is
put
which?
my brush into the correct one.
Yeah.
I should really start to like, all right, I'm
Hmm?
always going to put the one that I'm going to clean my brush in on this side, and then always
Mm-hmm.
put the one that I'm going to grab
Oh yeah.
water for thinning on this side. And I just haven't, I don't know why I haven't done that yet. I've been very good about here are my drinking cups and here are my painting cups, but beyond that, I'm still struggling.
I mean, I'm still doing stuff where I'm like, why don't I just do it this way? But because it's such a creature of habit thing, nope.
Yep. Or just I haven't gotten into the habit yet, right?
Yeah.
Like it's something I don't think about until, oh, whoops, I've already been here painting for
Yeah.
14 minutes and I really should have thought about that. Oh, well, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'm going to say it now because I haven't washed a brush yet.
Ooh.
So the cup that's further away from me is the one I'm going to be using to wash my brush. And the one
Okay.
that's closer to me is the one that I'm going to be using for water for thinning out stuff.
Okay.
I've said it out loud and now it must be true. That's how that works, right?
Right. I like how this mini kind of becomes this bizarre ring. I have it looped around my fingers so I can like balance the wing on my hand a little bit.
Hey, if it works. It's just the tail that's a little spiky. It's just
Right?
just a little spiky on the end.
Will you maraud with me?
Belson wants to know, question, assuming you are full epic on all three event champions, where should you spend extra tokens? I would definitely use your tokens, since this is the final of regular events 1.0. I shouldn't say regular, events 1.0 version. Then my suggestion is always don't spend them on chests. Do some more runs in the game, because you'll get more out of it by doing another free play run, both in chests and in favor that you'll be able to convert later. So I would definitely, even if you've just got a party grinding away in one of the free plays, just to get yourself some more loot and some more favor, that's how I'd use those event tokens. As for which champion, I mean, I kind of always default to the newest one because they're usually the one that isn't geared up the best yet. So yeah, I'd probably if you're only going to have one going, that's the one. I always try when a new event happens in the events 1.0, the other two champions at least run a couple of free plays until the cost of those free plays gets to the 2,500, whatever the max is. Because those first couple times you run those free plays, they're super cheap. They're like 500, 1,000, So it's always good to it's a good investment to run for all three with any of the event tokens you have and just get as many chests as possible. But then in the end, I usually have one party just always running a free play for, in this case, Dynahair. Also, just the fact that Dynahair does a lot of stuff. Not only is she just a solid champion by herself, but the fact that she really helps buff Minsk in a lot of different ways.
I love that synchronicity between the two of them.
Yeah.
That was so well thought out. I'm sorry, I'm giggling because the captions window has been having fun with Dynahair. So far we've had dying hair, dining here, done in here. I'm like, well, that's a mood. I'm done in here. Just done.
Oh yeah. When I was doing the captions for the short, yeah, Adobe did not know how to deal with Vee and Lauren. Now, in fairness, it took me a while to even get comfortable saying that. So, but Wick, it was often three different words. Sometimes it just ignored it. Like
I didn't hear you say that. Just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yep. It was just, that was garbled. I don't know what you're saying. Like, listen, I spent a ridiculous amount of time looking up videos on how to pronounce this word. You can put it in the captions. You are going to caption this word.
You will make it make sense.
Yep. I posted about this on the socials, but I basically found two different sources for the correct pronunciation of Vee and Lauren. One of them was a Baldur's Gate 3 video. That
seems pretty legit.
Yeah. That Minsk is involved in. I'll put it that way, so that way I don't spoil anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spoil anything in Baldur's Gate 3, but one was a Baldur's Gate 3 video, and then the other was a whole bunch of videos of the wonderful Erin M. Evans, because not only does she use the word in a couple of Champions of Lore, talking about Rashomon and a whole bunch of things, but the game that they play on Wednesdays, Dungeon Scrawlers, Rashomon and Vee and Lauren witches show up and are a thing. Ooh. And also, she wrote a whole bunch of official books on dungeons that were based in the Forgotten Realms. So if there's anybody who knows how to pronounce that word, it's her. So I spent quite a while before recording that voiceover, listening to Aaron say that word multiple times over a couple different videos. And the captions that Dungeon Scrawlers uses
Mm-hmm.
also had a horrible time trying
Oh
to figure
no.
out what that word was.
What are you trying to put here?
It's like I don't know if you're still speaking English. What's going on? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
That's when captions kind of turn into enigmatoid, and it's like you keep using that word, but I don't think it means what like that line
Yeah.
from Princess Bride. Except you keep saying this word, but I don't think it's the word you keep thinking it is.
I don't think it's a word.
I don't think it's a word. Just no.
Well, and while the caption stuff that we use for the live captions on here, it's pretty darn good. It uses the Google software and it
Right.
tends to get a lot of stuff and it actually gets more D&D words than I
Surprisingly.
expected.
Yeah.
But it is still live captions.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, names and other proper uh nouns, I guess you could say.
Right.
It doesn't always get. So I'm sure the captions are continuing to have a lot of fun right now with everything I've been saying. And that's okay.
Looks like Chad is deciding which dragon they'd want to be.
Oh, a Pete's dragon. Chillin'. D2 Crafty one. If I had a choice to be a dragon, I would be Puff. I mean, you get a song.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's hard not to want a song. Uh, See, now I'm curious. Okay, so V,
Mm-hmm.
if you were going to be a dragon,
Yes.
what kind of dragon would you be? Either specific color or a specific kind or
I'd
whatever.
probably be a moonstone dragon.
Ooh, yeah.
I really like their vibe.
They're pretty.
They are. Plus, like, I just like how they function type of stuff. Like, to me, it's just so cool.
Yeah. Um,
What about you?
oh, yeah, I'm thinking about it. All right, I don't remember offhand if it's brass or bronze. I get the two of them
Yeah,
confused.
I do the
But
same.
one of them, they collect stories. They collect essentially people and stories.
Uh-huh.
And I really like that. I like that it kind of subverts a little bit of the horde trope of, well,
Mm,
what do you collect? Gold. What do you collect? Art pieces. What do you collect? The tales of other heroes. And
that is
even in
fun.
the description of those dragons, there's a little bit of, even though they're usually pretty good creatures, but they can get kind of petulant and insistent
Mm-hmm.
and will like force you to
Like a
stick around
toddler
and talk
wanting a
with them.
story.
Kinda. And when an ancient dragon is just like, you're not going anywhere, then yeah. Then yeah. But I really I enjoy that
That
specific.
is fun.
And maybe that's the dungeon master in me because it gives me more options for using dragons outside of here is a layer and here is a horde.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, the podcast that I run, Distinguished Adventurers, the first campaign, one of the main, they're not really an antagonist. One of the main creatures that was a reoccurring NPC that the
Mm-hmm.
party dealt with was a blue dragon. Um, and blue dragons they have a similar vibe. They're very intelligent and
Right.
they're gregarious, but they can be egotistical. And so what they collect are essentially people. Uh, Not to like have in a cave somewhere, but like look at these people who all work for me.
They're Elon
Who the,
Musk.
I mean, maybe not that evil, but I mean,
Oh.
I'm sorry. I had to say it. But in a way, yeah, that kind of idea of the horde is showing off their power
Mm-hmm.
by look who I have access to.
Yeah.
Here are people that owe me favors. Here are people that work for me. Here are people that worship me.
Right.
And so you can have these really interesting interactions in where they're not necessarily like like they can be kind of lawful evil if you want to go evil. Like they want to talk to people. They don't necessarily want to kill people because once you're dead, you can't do
You're
stuff
of no
for them.
use. Yeah.
So yeah, so the party in that first campaign had quite a few interactions in where it was essentially like, all right, I want you to help me do this thing, and in return, I'm going to give you this thing that I want. And yeah, I'm kind of being intimidating and threatening you to do this, but I'm also not going to make you do anything that you wouldn't want to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They're that intelligent and that crafty, but then
Right.
also, you know, and so
They're like
yeah,
a
any
suave narcissist in that respect.
a little bit, a little
Yeah.
bit like definitely that kind of look how powerful these people are and how awesome they are, and that shows how awesome I
I
am.
am. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, they're also super interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd
definitely.
want to be one because of that, but they're fun to play as a DM.
Agreed.
Also, I have a giant mini from a 3.5 Blue Dragon. It's really hard to see. It's sitting
Ooh.
up there. It's one of the few
Nice.
minis I got gifted that's like chunky, uh pre-painted,
Mm.
but yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
from 3.5. And so it's real big.
Big boy.
And so yeah, it's nice for me, even though I don't run games usually with maps and minis and everything. It was
Right.
nice the first time that dragon showed up to be like, because we all play over Zoom, and be like, look, dragon.
Dargan! Yeah, I need to start plotting things for reasons in the summertime for a campaign with minis and at least
Ooh.
terrain mats and such and scatter.
Yeah, it's real cool, but it's time consuming to do the
Yeah.
physical stuff.
Yeah. It is, and it's like I gotta sit and plot things out of like, does this really need to go with me, et cetera, et cetera. And like, I have some fun minis
Hmm.
for sure. Um, and WizKids is still sending me other fun minis. So it's like, well, what can I put to good use?
Yeah.
But ironically, I won't bring a lot of the minis that I've painted by hand. Those I kind of tend to only want to keep as close as possible.
Yeah, it's hard to travel with stuff that you want to be precious about. Like
Yeah,
there's always a risk whenever you travel that
that's
something is
just
going to
it.
get damaged. Even if it's like I'm going to have this in my carry-on or I'm going to have this, however it's packaged, there's
Yeah.
always kind of that weird anxiety that something could happen.
Well, it's also things it's like, when I'm at home, if something gets damaged or whatever, I can quick fix it at home. Like, I know where all
Hmm.
my repair supplies are. Um, but when you're out and about and doing things, and if something should get damaged, it's a lot harder to do the instant repair and protect type of thing because you're not in your usual environment. So, yeah, I gotta sort of sort through my pre-painted stuff or stuff that I can speed paint and get done quickly, like my army of skeletons that I've done. That those I'm not precious about. I'm like, yeah, I can get two more of those done in 20 minutes, whatever. Um,
I have an army. It'll be
exactly.
fine.
But things like the flail snail, I will keep that one here. But I have a pre-painted flail snail. It's actually living right back there. That I'll grab
Yeah.
that one if I decide I want. I've been inspired and I want to incorporate that into my to be determined campaign.
Yay.
Honestly, I
That
want to create an
remind
NPC of a gnome that rides a flail snail. Like, I want to
I
try and
know,
work that into this
right?
campaign.
They're so cool. They're so much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
A gnome druid riding a flail snail.
Right?
That reminds me in a way when you're talking about how hard it is to fix things when you don't have access to your stuff
Mm-hmm.
of cosplayers who go to conventions and things,
Oh yeah.
most of them will bring a whole kit of like
Mm-hmm.
stuff to repair and fix and update and all of that. But it's impossible to bring everything. It's
Right.
impossible to have, all options. And so there are those people who go to conventions who basically are just walking fix-its, who like
Mm-hmm.
just wander around with a tool belt full of supplies specifically for like, hey, are you cosplaying and did you have a whoopsie and do you not have a
Yeah.
safety pin? Do you not have this paint? Do you not have this? I'm here to help, and those are always
I
fun.
I am so here for that concept. Just like you're wanting to help someone else with their art. I'm like, yes, that is like the coolest vibe.
Yeah. It's the cosplay equivalent of like stage crew on a theater set
Mm-hmm.
or costumers for a movie and stuff like
Right.
that. Like, here are creative people in where their creative outlet is the making of things, but maybe they're not really that interested in being the
Right.
actor, being the
Right.
person on the stage. And so being able to do your craft and help people at the same time. I always thought that was super cool.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so I also did the fin, the webbing on the fin.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm gonna work this into the toes too, which will be darker because I've based them in black, but I want it to have that little hint of this blue
Hmm.
between the toes. Tickle the tootsies.
I am I am definitely far behind. I'm
That's okay.
still on one wing.
That's
I
totally
am a
okay.
one-winged dragon angel.
One wing wonder.
Yeah. I pulled out a smaller brush so that I could do the
Gotcha.
edging around the dragon, around
Mm-hmm.
the black parts of the dragon.
That's
And
fair.
for whatever reason, now I'm just like, well, I guess this is the brush I'm using for everything. I guess I just need to be careful about everything.
This is where I live
I'm,
now.
I'm just Today is just an extra careful day, I guess.
There's nothing wrong with an extra careful day. I mean, gosh,
Yeah.
extra careful day sounds kind of nice, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. It just might be the thing in where when you're ready to move on, I might just have to
Oh,
put the
gotcha.
blue to the side.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you're having trouble on stream, if stuff is laggy or so, go ahead and do a refresh on Twitch. Sometimes just refreshing the page
Oh,
helps a lot. Looks like a couple people were talking about Nemoto 101010. Yeah, it's annoying you have to refresh between streams. Twitch beat twitching.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. It does that when like the same channel jumps between streams and it just sort of like hovers in this limbo land of quality.
Yep.
Yep. I was gonna say because I was looking at my settings and I'm like, nope, we're good on my end.
Yeah, I figured
Knock
if
wood.
something was wrong on our
Yeah.
end, you would have said something by now. So,
Yeah.
yep.
No, we haven't even
Hopefully just
dropped
a
it. We
quick
haven't dropped
refresh.
knockwood. Haven't dropped a single frame. I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, even if you end up dropping a few frames, that's fine.
Oh yeah, a couple frames here and there is really barely even noticeable if at all.
It is a small price to pay to the stream gods so that the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the stream goes fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, especially for like our stream, especially
Mm,
like just C&E in general, because we have a bunch of shows on, and
right.
it's not like we're live 6, 8 hours in a row. It's we have 6 or 8 hours worth of streams, but it's off on. And sometimes
Yeah.
Twitch just doesn't catch up. And so one stream ends, and if you leave that Twitch page open, sometimes it doesn't realize that we've gone live again.
Yeah.
And so chat's just chatting away, and I'm looking at the screen going, it's not live. What's everybody talking? Oh.
Refresh. Go bloop.
Oh. Okay. All right, fine. It's the Twitch version of the turn it off and back on again.
Mm-hmm. It literally is.
Uh, oh yeah.
Hmm?
Uh,
What so yeah.
Metaphysica. Welcome. So yes, they were asking about the Electrum chest code, which is down there, and also if you put exclamation mark code, you'll get it. So yeah, every stream, most of the time, has an Electrum chest code. One. Our streams, the ones that are, uh, I guess native, I would say, the ones that C&E makes, the
Mm-hmm.
ones that we make on our stream on this channel, will often send out more than one alert for a stream. So, for example, this is a show that goes on for 2 hours, and so there'll be an in-game alert every 30 minutes. But it will be the same code for that
Yeah.
stream. Just like the show before us, Community Q&A, there were a couple of alerts for that show, but it was one code. Um, and then for any of the awesome people that we partner with that we send out uh, in-game alerts to, like dungeon crawlers we were talking about, they get a big alert on Wednesday,
Yeah.
and they just get one big one, not a whole bunch of small ones. And it's
Right.
the same kind of thing. They will have a new code for every one of their shows. So it's
There
always
you
worth
go.
stopping on by, picking up the code, seeing if it's a stream that you enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
thanking the folks who are over there for being awesome people and giving free stuff. Especially with a new champion coming out, being able to use the Electrum chess codes to get all of the gear and some of the lower slots is
Mm-hmm.
real useful.
It is totally.
And then we
Absolutely.
also send out alerts for YouTube videos on our YouTube channel. And that one, if you look in the uh,
Description.
description,
Yeah.
if it's a new video, if I've sent out an alert, and I say I because I'm the one in charge of that. If there's an in-game alert for a YouTube video, it should have a code that is active for a week in the description, because obviously we don't have a live chat going on,
Right.
and we don't have a uh
Command.
we don't have a command, and we can't put anything live on the screen because it is a video on demand. So yeah, you have to scroll a tiny bit.
It still works. It's still a good thing.
All right,
Okay.
I'm on wing number 2, electric
Wing 2. Okay, well, I got both wings pretty much done on my end, so I'm gonna look at all this lovely nubbly texture that shows up in this mini.
Yeah, I got that
And
one
again,
done.
for those just jumping in, this is the D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures Young Black Dragon. I'm tempted to run downstairs and grab the adult black dragon just so you guys can see the scale reference and how much it changes.
So
Oh god. They're good sized dragons, the adult ones. It's like, well, what's the difference? Trust me, there's a difference between the young and the adults.
Yep, yep. Yeah, especially at the larger sizes when you're talking about like large to huge to gargantuan, like
Yeah.
it's exponentially bigger.
I mean, here, I'll do the thing I did with bases last episode. So, this one is technically on a huge base. So let me grab... Come here. Going through my little treasure trove here. Okay, so we have... Let's see if I can do it on my hand. So this one is tiny. That's medium. That's large in the one hand. So tiny, no, sorry, small, medium, large. Tiny, I don't have one for. This one is huge. This is what the black dragon came on. And then gargantuan is, you can fit all of these inside of it. It's like a freaking dinner plate, is what it boils down to. But you can see just how things start to march up in size. Small, medium, large, huge, and then gargantuan's your next step up. Actually, do I want to get Arviatrus down? Or the Charlatan? You're the Charlatan. I'm not getting Tiamat down. I don't feel like being injured today.
And also Tiamat is just a whole other class.
Tiamat's
Like
massive.
technically she's gargantuan, but also just a whole other classification
She's
of,
just
of
big. Hold on, let me grab one of the other dragons so you guys can see the bottom.
yeah.
Come here, Arby.
Gauntlet Blade. But do they obey the square cube law? Oh, you asking a math question. I've used exponentially bigger, and I don't know. I don't know. And Brath Why not an elder black dragon? Because we would be here for months.
Forever. Okay.
So we'd be painting for months.
Ow! Jeez Louise. So
Ooh.
this is Arviaturus. Say hi, everybody. Here's Arvi. She's feeling
Hi,
chill.
Arvi.
When you flip this one on its side, you can see there's this halo mark. That's its actual classification size. So this is gargantuan here. But obviously because these creatures are so big, there's a top-heavy issue. So WizKids gives them a larger, clear base to keep them balanced on the table. But you can see this halo is what gargantuan would be, and I just took huge and I put it on the inside, and you can see it's even bigger. So
Yep.
yeah, they get big.
Yep.
Big, bigger, biggest. And God, if Rory is not the same size as Arviaturus.
The other thing I will say about why don't we do the elder black dragon, or an ancient something, or something that is a that big of a size. Honestly, those would be super fun to paint. I know we've got I've got a
silver.
Yeah, we've got the silver. I think,
Yeah.
is that an adult?
Yeah, the silver's an adult.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, we're here not just to have fun painting minis, but this is kind of an instructional show as well.
Yeah.
And the bigger you get with some of those creatures, not every creature, but like the bigger the creature, the more time it's going to be like, all right, we're spending this entire episode just painting this.
Painting a leg. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Painting a leg.
Yep.
And
so
Insomni CA airbrushes, yes, are absolutely a thing for these larger minis. However, the spaces in which Lauren and I both paint are not conducive to airbrushing. They're basically our office desks. They don't have the proper ventilation. The cleanup would be a nightmare, and the protection of your equipment, completely different story. There are fantastic mini painting artists out there who use airbrushes and do fantastic jobs showing you how to use those tools. I highly recommend checking them out. They have studios devoted towards what the needs are for that particular kind of equipment. We don't.
Yeah.
So, quite frankly, we'll never be doing an airbrush on this show. It's just not feasible.
Yep. For our safety and yours.
Exactly. Baby girl.
But for what we can do, we could show off a lot of really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like the other problem, and it's one of those, like, maybe it's not that big of a problem, but it's a big problem, is just I mean, you saw when Vee pulled out Arviatrix, how hard it was to show that entire mini off in the camera.
Yeah. That's just it. I need to rig a camera from the ceiling type of thing and have the scope option where you can kind of control with a button.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
could run downstairs and grab the adult black dragon if people want to see, to give you some time to finish painting your way.
Well, let's ask chat.
Chat, do you want to see? Do
first
you
off,
want to see the difference, like the adult black to the young?
also, chat is just like, kitty. I think
Because I
chat
actually
just
have
wants
a
to
wormling.
see your
Oh,
cat.
funny. Because I do have a wormling. Hold on, I have the black wormling right there. All right, so this is fun. I got the baby.
Hey.
So here's a wormling to a young. You can already see the difference right there. So this is the small to the huge. Let me go get the other one. I'll be right back. I'm seeing yes. I'm seeing.
We're
the
seeing
yes.
a lot of folks. Yep.
Like wee baby.
Also, hi TTRP gifts.
Hello.
Happy
All
Friday.
right, I'll be right back.
All right.
I
It's
know
just
exactly
you and me,
where it
chat.
is.
It's just you and me. I really do want to do that silver dragon because it is so big and impressive. Probably because Vee and I've kind of talked about it. That will be a mini that if we ever decide to do it, there'll be homework in where, all right, we're gonna paint this this leg, and now over the next week, before we come back to the next episode, me and her and everybody at home painting along will spend a little bit of time on our own finishing painting the other legs. Ah, there it is.
So yeah, I still keep it in its box. So we're gonna crack this big boy open.
Ooh, an unboxing. Hey.
A re-unboxing? I have unboxed this one in the past. This exact
You have done it
Kids. Yeah.
Yeah. We have done. It's been a hot minute since Paint and Slay has done an unboxing, though.
Right.
And I appreciate it because
do
it's given
like-
me time to finish this wing.
I do like how on the inside they sort of reflected the environments. See, it's like this swampy marsh.
Oh
Isn't that
yeah.
fun?
Yeah,
On the
that's
inside of the
cool.
box. Okay, so come on, Jafar. I named him. This one's Jafar. All right, so got this big one. Check it out. The adult to what we're painting.
Yep. Yep.
There's a difference in scale. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is also another reason why with that silver dragon we definitely have to take some special steps.
I was just talking about that while you were grabbing the dragon, how
Yeah.
we've talked about how if and when we do the silver dragon, there'll probably be homework
Oh, absolutely. We need
of
to.
like, hey, today on air, we're going to paint this leg. And
Yeah.
then everybody's homework, including you and me, will be to go home and paint the other four legs because there's a point in where like, oh, if we could spend this entire episode just painting the same color on these four legs and it's not, we are a stream, we are a show, so thinking about what's interesting for people to watch is also a thing, even though painting an entire dragon and spending a couple hours just kind of carefully doing the one color can be very relaxing and zen, not necessarily the best
No.
streaming content. So
Yeah, exactly.
but that's not saying no, just it's something we'll have to plan for.
Or it might be something where we kind of do like what we're doing now with the black dragon and the flail snail. We paint certain parts of the snail flail. No,
The snail flail.
the silver dragon.
I mean, the flail of the snail flail is a flail.
Right? We could always like paint certain parts of the dragon and work on it behind the scenes for a couple weeks while we go to a different mini the next episode.
Yeah.
Just because with dragons those size,
Yep.
yeah, they take a lot of work. The bigger
Yeah.
ones for sure. My girl.
I do really like that idea. Not just because it would be easier for everybody, but then it would just give everybody a little bit more time, including us. So like,
Right.
all right, your homework over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. It's the first Friday of the month, and we're going back to working on the silver dragon.
Exactly. Okay, I'm just going in really quick and giving a very thin line of the Displacer Beast blue on the claws and talons, just to act as a highlight.
Nice.
Yeah, because actually my paint dried up enough where that will make sense to be able to do that with it now. I mean, it's fun painting extremely large minis and definitely worthwhile, but they are a big devotion of time and effort, so it does help to sort of rotate through and have side minis to do in between and give yourself a break, quite frankly.
That all totally makes sense. I don't know why I'm laughing at the term side mini, but it
Because you literally keep them
me.
to the side. Like, you keep them to the side of your desk, and that's the mini you grab. Like, oh, my little side mini that I'm working on, just grab it and keep going.
I need to do something just relaxing and not necessarily have to think. Oh, time for a dragon leg.
Yep, exactly. Rory's now sitting on top of the box of the black dragon.
If they fits, it sits.
She could fit. That's just it. She very easily could fit if I took the packaging out. She's like, this mine now, right? No.
Tyra no do. I bet the payoff feels amazing after you finish.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can
definitely.
imagine.
Definitely has a great payoff when you're like, I did it. I done did the thing.
And then you immediately just jump into another giant project.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, done.
Yep.
What can I paint now? What next? What next? What next?
Well, I'm about to wrap up a commission. I'm excited to like finish it up. I'm really happy with how it came out, but it's also like, oh, it's gonna be done soon.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because that one I got to do a lot of creative things with the minis.
Yeah, painting minis, especially especially for me. I think it's different for everybody, but for me, definitely the journey is the big part, the
Yeah.
important part. I'm it's all the minis that we have done. I am always very proud and happy with the ones that we have finished and how they look and, the things that I've learned. But it's at that point, I'm like done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to the next one because this
Right.
is the process I enjoy,
Yeah.
even though I am very far behind on my blue.
It's okay.
I'm 2/3 of the way done. I just finished, I have 1.5 wings done.
One and a half things. Okay.
Ta-da. The insides are
There
done.
you go. Okay, so what I think I'll do is while you're working on that part, because the parts I can do will be very easy for you to do offline, because it's just getting the eyes and the teeth taken care of. So I'll show chat how to move on to doing the teeth and the eyeballs for this fellow.
Perfect.
So for that, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba.
For that, it's Super Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm. All right, so with these teeth, they kind of need to be just polished up a little bit. So I'm going to go and I'm going to grab dead flesh. I'm going to brush that onto the teeth now. And I know dead flesh is very yellow, but we're going to go back in with an off-white to highlight.
Let's polish up the teeth with dead flesh.
Dead flesh. If it'll come out and play. Do I have a plug in this? Oh no!
Ah,
Or it could just be, I've used more of this than I realized. Oh please, unfinished minis to be painted.
mm-hmm.
Just when I think I'm done, they suck me right back in. There we go.
I have, we have a drawer of minis that are either pre-painted or ones that haven't been painted yet.
Mm-hmm.
That we've had since before we started doing paint and slay. That's just my partner and I minis that we've collected because he does like to use minis.
Yeah.
But as far as unpainted minis, I don't necessarily have a drawer of unpainted that are sitting there. I have a large box in my closet.
Uh-huh. Yep.
It's just a giant box in my closet. It's just like every time I open up the closet, I'm like, oh, look at all of them.
I have 4 office boxes full, and then 1 large cabinet full of unpainted minis.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I have a lot.
It makes sense that you would have a lot. You've got the professional box of
Yeah.
minis. The pile of shame, says Insomnicia. Listen, I'm
I
gonna
don't think
say
it's shameful.
there's no shame, partially because it's supposed to be just something fun, and
Mm-hmm.
and you know what? It's fine. The other thing is everyone I know who paints minis has minis they haven't painted sitting somewhere
Oh
that they'd
yeah.
like to paint that they just haven't gotten to yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think it's a thing that you need to feel ashamed about. I think it's just a part of being someone who paints minis.
It's totally a part of the process, quite frankly.
It is just a part of the hobby that everybody has. So there's no shame in it whatsoever. It's if anything, it's proof that you belong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it didn't take me very long to suddenly have minis sitting around that I'd like to paint that I haven't painted, that I might maybe someday maybe paint.
I mean, I think it's safe to say many painters in their own way are dragons and have their horde.
Yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense. There's also a interesting thing that happens with when people in the hobby in Dungeons and Dragons or any of the hobbies that involve minis. As soon as you talk about how you are painting minis, but people will just give you minis.
Oh yeah.
Be like, hey, I've had this sitting around for forever. Or I got a couple of these and I
Yep.
haven't painted for a while. Would you like them? And so you just accumulate.
I got some peanut on its tongue. Red.
Uh, the TTRP gifts. I did not come here to be attacked like this.
No attacking. Just
It,
you know.
nope. It is the opposite of attacking. It is the self-realization that you don't need to be ashamed of the pile of minis that you haven't
No.
painted.
Yeah.
That is proof that you are having fun in the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways you can prove it. Yeah, we all have them. I mean, I'm not joking when I say that when we started this show, uh, I mean, yes, we had ordered a whole bunch of minis to start with for our first couple of episodes.
Right.
I think within the first month, I had minis sitting around that I've just never painted. That I was like, oh, I'd like to paint these, but we're gonna put these aside because we're not gonna do them for A, B, and C. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I had been given minis.
Yep.
People are like, oh, I heard you got a show. Do you need some
Want some
minis?
minis? Hey kid, you want a mini?
Yeah. Hey, hey, I got these
I
dragons.
got a mini. I got a mini for you.
I got a dragon for you.
And it is such a slippery slope, I tell you. Oh boy. Alright,
Hmm.
let me fix. Okay. Do do do. Oh please, please, let's not go there. The late
Oh,
1900s.
where are we going?
I just saw the late 1900s. Mm-mm. Not antiques, vintage. They're vintage. They're vintage. I
Uh,
refuse to be made to feel old and act my age.
Listen, I don't need you to remind me that I am old. The fact that I have to hold this dragon a little bit further away in order to have
Uh-huh.
it be in focus of my eyes is all the reminder I need.
Imaginal disc, I just saw your question. You absolutely should be taking the necessary precautions because you are taking airborne particulates. And if you are
Oh,
inhaling that, that goes into your lungs. Okay? At the
yeah.
very I'm gonna go mom on you. I'm gonna go mom and point my handle at you. At the
Oh,
very least, put a freaking mask on your face. But you should take ventilation seriously when you're using an airbrush, because you're looking at various pigments have various different chemical composites and stuff like that that you should be careful about. I mean, quite frankly, look at what happened with vape tools, the popcorn lung, and stuff like that. It's like
oh yeah.
you have to be very careful with what goes into your lungs. So seriously, like just get yeah, thank you, Heberarda. Hmm. Um, Even if you go to the hardware store and you get like the construction grade face mask that'll be in the painting section, Heb's fine, thank you. That'll at least give you a barrier, so you're not inhaling that. Okay. Please take that part seriously. That's not just another like oh tee hee hee hee.
We appreciate that you are here.
Yeah,
We want you to have healthy
yeah,
lungs and continue to be here. Please, please continue to be here.
yeah. Exactly, exactly. Okay, so I just went through and I put the dead flesh on the teeth.
That's a sentence. That's a sentence. I love it.
I can't even say that without laughing. Now I'm gonna
That's
switch
great.
over to off white and brush that across the front portions of the teeth.
And
Oh
I'm getting
god.
close with the wings, and then I just got to do the frill on the back of the head.
There you go.
Yeah, I have
All
a
right.
friend who bought an air. Well, we have an airbrush, and
Mm-hmm.
then I also have a friend. And all of us are geeks of several sorts, and our friend has a garage, so we brought our airbrush over to his garage and basically like pooled our resources. But then the nice thing about the garage is you just keep the garage door open,
Yeah.
and now you got some good ventilation.
Mm-hmm.
So not only for safety, but also for the smell. But yeah, uh being able to be, if you can't be in somewhere well ventilated, a mask is absolutely necessary. And yeah, it's 99% for the safety of it, but also
Yeah.
for 1% for the smell. It just,
Oh God.
ugh.
Yeah.
Nobody likes a paint smell.
I mean, I kind of do.
All right. Lots of people don't like a paint smell. I will amend my statement.
It's also because of like I associate the paint smell with like creativity and projects and fresh, clean slate type of stuff. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
It's not that you enjoy the smell, it's you enjoy the association the smell brings.
Yeah.
I do
I've
not
Pavloved myself with paint. Okay. So that's the
Sorry, that just
choppers
hit
with
me.
a dry brush of the off-white on top. So see, we have these gnarly looking teeth now.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to take the
Gnarly
same
teeth.
off-white. I'm going to dot the eyes, but with a much finer tipped detail brush. So I can then go back in and get the eye colors taken care of. Oh, goodness me.
And that's definitely going to be a a toothpick time for me. I can tell already. Even with these
Fair.
being fairly large minis, it's the eyes. Yeah, I always have to go for the eyes, boo.
Ay, ay, ay.
Mm. McTribble, we want you here for a long time.
A long time.
I would clap, except my hands are full.
Mm-hmm.
That's adorable and also real funny. I like it. Ah, oh God, turn that way. I just got this last bit and I need to get at it. Ah, here we go.
I like the running commentary.
It's not that it's a awkward, it's not even really that awkward of a place to get to, except I'm trying not to touch whole sections of the mini.
Fair. Yeah, exactly. It's less getting to it and more. There we go. Hee hee hee. Look at that. Now that's super sinister.
Oh God, those eyes. That's so good.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, ta-da, wings.
Yay! Got your wings.
All right, I've got a little bit of blue left. Let's see if I can get this frill
Yep.
done, and then I'll basically I'll do the eyes and the teeth as homework, and I'll catch
Yeah.
up with what you're up to.
Okay, so then I think what we'll do, just to give your wings a little bit more time to dry, is we'll jump over doing some things with the base.
Bless you.
Thank you. So remember the first episode, we painted the base up to have this kind of green, rocky look to it, slimy green rocks. That's
Yeah.
because we're going to go in and we're going to pull some. Now, these are bits of pieces from aquarium plants. So we're going to go in and we're going to have fun and make this base look like swampy terrain by adding in bits and pieces of these really cool aquarium plants. Now, the fun thing about this is that if you want to have fun and sort of change up the color, like say you wanted to make this look more autumnal, you could go in and with craft paints, you could dry brush this with different colors to make it look more autumnal. If you want to make it look more dead and desiccated and dried out, you could go through and paint it with like browns and yellows and dry brush them with that. And it actually holds up pretty well. It's a trick I've done with a bunch of different terrain pieces that I've built. The thing is, you will need to go back and make sure that you spray Mod Podge Ultra, and in this case, spray, not try and paint, because my God, that would be a headache.
Oh,
Just go in and spray Mod Podge Ultra onto the bits and pieces that you've treated with paint, just to help it adhere a little bit better and basically seal it up. But yeah, we're going to go through and we're going to take all of these little bits and pieces, yay, and start attaching them to basically the base here, focusing on where all these lovely little craggy dips and cracks are. And we're going to use those as support for sticking these plants in. Now, while super glue could be an option, in this case, I am going to be using, actually I need to turn off my space heater for this. I am going to be using E6000 because I found that this is a much better way to attach these in because it comes out as a thicker consistency. And that thickness will also help, see, ooh, look at that, will help those plants adhere a little bit better. So let me just quickly turn off my space heater. Reason being because the hot air and the smell of the E6000, I don't want to pass out. Remember we were talking about practicing safety?
No passing out. Also, I have grabbed cling wrap.
Yes. That was going to be the next thing. So I'm actually going to pop a window. Just give it a slight crack of air. So what you're also going to want to do is protect your surface. Since we're using E6000, I don't recommend using a paper towel or paper because when things fall on top of that, it will stick more likely. It helps just to put some plastic wrap down on your work surface. Whether it's, I only had press and seal or the classic saran wrap type of stuff. That will protect your work area, but if anything falls, you'll still be able to use it. It won't stick right away to your protective surface underneath. So that's why I'm using that cling wrap, saran wrap, press and seal. Basically the stretchy plastic stuff you put over things to preserve food a little bit longer or protect food.
Is saran wrap, that's like...
saran wrap's the brand. It's
tissue.
like a tissue to a Kleenex, yeah. Or Band-Aid to a bandage is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So, oh, yeah. The kitties are going to be out and about because I've dared to open a window.
Oh, no.
Not in a bad way. They'll be acting up behind us so you can enjoy the show behind there. So what I'm going to do is, here, I'll show off. I just have a variety of different shapes. So I have like this, which is like leaves, you know, more prominent leaves. And then I have this, which is sort of like a smaller bundled collection of leaves. This is a little bit more grassy in effect. Oh, that is the same thing as what I just showed you. So I'll just pop that up there. And then again with this. Oh, I thought I had a different, one moment, please. Did I not grab? Oh, I bet you she stole it. I forgot she does that.
How dare.
She has, I can work without it. It's fine. She has a real liking for this particular style of aquarium plant. And whenever I pull it out, she finds it like so fast and just runs away with it. She probably like yoinked it when I wasn't looking and I was looking for other plants.
Yeah.
So
she went dibs and is gone.
This is what she did. This is exactly what she did. She's like, mine. So okay. I'm going to.
I really like the spiky grass.
Yeah.
I think the spiky grass is real cool.
Now, looking at my post, it's actually pretty clean. I don't have to worry about cleaning it off. But if you got paint on this post, what you want to first do is take your rubbing alcohol, and in this case, you could even put it onto a paper towel and just wipe it off. So if you got any flecks of paint, just take rubbing alcohol and wipe it off. It'll come off beautifully. Not an issue. But mine is actually in pretty good shape. So what I'm going to do is focus on working my way center out. Because I want to put like the taller reaching things more towards the center and then shift towards the lower bits of plants towards the edges of this base. So I'm going to go in with my more leggy grass-like stuff and just trim this all off.
Oh, let me grab a scissor. That is a bit
yeah, you'll need scissors for this part. So snip, snippity, snip. And the trick is, I just removed them all from their base, but you can have it so it keeps like that little dippity-doo if you want, if your plants are doing that. Or if you want something to stick straight up, you need to make sure you trim it closer so it's standing a little bit more upright. So I'm actually going to trim this down just a touch because I don't want this looking like it's in Whoville. So I'm just going to, actually, let me lower the camera so you guys can see this a wee bit better. So with that, I'm going to open up my E6000. And this stuff likes to come out on its own. I'm just going to quickly dab that into my E6000. Cap it. Trust me, cap between use each and every time. I know it's a peanut, but it is worth it. And then I'm just going to balance it onto the base and hold it there for a little bit. And it should, theoretically, take hold once it kind of has a chance to dry a little bit.
Okay.
Like so.
I, I don't have the exact same leafies, but I'm gonna use
Oh,
some
yeah.
of these, which I real like.
Yeah, use whatever is kind of calling to you. I honestly just grabbed from all of my supplies of what I had on hand. And this is cotton webbing. And the trick of the game at this point is just kind of work this around. Actually, I might need a little bit more of that glue. You're just going to go around and attach these little bits into those craggy bits.
Into the crags.
Yeah.
And then
There we go.
lots of holding still,
Mm-hmm.
waiting
Yeah,
for things
definitely.
to stick. All right.
And the nice thing about the saran wrap is when you're done, you just sort of lift it all up and it collects all the little bits and pieces you've trimmed away
That makes sense.
instead of trying to sweep it all away by hand. Because trust me, that's not fun either.
Mm-hmm.
And then just purchasing tips, I like buying them in the smaller tubes as opposed to the massively big one you can find in the hardware store. Because this stuff, once it's open, it has a tendency to kind of dry out faster than you anticipate.
Mm.
So you're not wasting a whole tube of it when you go for the smaller ones.
That's also the nice thing about getting super glue in tiny little the packages that are like here's 4 but they're all tiny because
Exactly.
eventually it's just gonna either dry out or get
Mm-hmm.
stuck or whatever and you're not losing an entire big thing of it
Yeah.
when it happens.
Yep. Because that is never a fun thing to experience. You're like, oh man, I just bought this a month ago and it's gone.
Yeah.
The adhesive is called E6000 Imaginal Disc.
Let's see. Let's put you
See? Like it is.
like that. And how, in relation, the E6000 versus super glue,
Mm-hmm.
how long does that take
It
to
takes a while to
dry?
cure up.
Okay.
At least 24 hours. You'll have a little, and that's why I also like to work with this. It gives you some wiggle room, so if you need to like ooch something slightly out of the way, you still can.
Mm.
Whereas super glue, once it's in, it's in. And also, super glue tends to pull up the paint sometimes if you start
Yeah.
moving the pieces around, which is less than ideal.
Yeah, I'm liking how that's looking.
Yeah.
Let's see if I
Yeah,
can
see the kind you're using? That's the one I thought I grabbed that Roy runs away with.
I like the tall wisps that you got
That's
going
just
on there,
it.
though. That
Yeah.
is definitely cool looking.
It's fun to have the different heights and variety of plants going on. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to go in and let's do something a little more bushy. Actually, hold on. I'm also bringing my florist background in here. I'm like, oh, wait, this is a thing of 4. You want to try and work in odds for balance. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'm going to do this.
Oh, so when you're doing floral arrangements, you're looking at
You're working
asymmetric, or you're just looking for odds in
You
general?
look for odd counts. So you'd use like 3 carnations and 5 lilies and that type of thing as you set something up. Oop, I wobbled.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. It's a whole balance design thing, working in odd numbers.
When I was younger, when I was going through college, I should say, I worked for a while at, those at home might recognize Wegmans, which
Oh,
is,
yes.
yeah, the best grocery store ever of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't at me. And I will say, don't, I will be taking no questions. It is the best grocery store. It is one of the few things I super duper miss living here on the West Coast, is there is no Wegmans.
Yep.
Of all of the many, many reasons why Wegmans is amazing, they treat their employees incredibly well, even their part-time employees. And so this was back in the late 90s, because I'm old. And even at the time, in New York, so I was working part-time at Wegmans, putting myself through school, doing the whole shebang. Not only was I making
Nope.
significantly more than what minimum wage was at the time, but part-timers got um basic health care. It was real basic, but it was still
Mm-hmm.
health
Still
care.
healthcare. Yeah.
We got holidays, paid holidays, and paid sick days,
Nice.
which sounds like the bare minimum if you're from a place like Canada, or not enough. But especially in the 90s, and especially for a part-time person, that was all unheard of.
Oh
And
yeah.
they treated everybody real well. Uh, and so yeah, it was. I don't remember why I started talking about this.
I mean, it's a good tangent.
It is a tangent, and I now can't remember what my point was. But there you go, Wegmans, yay. Also, hello, Cipher of Tear. Thank
Hey,
you for
Cypher.
the sub. I've got the flail snail we were working on last week sitting over there, waiting
Yay.
until we're done with our Dargan.
Yeah.
Ah, shoot.
What happened?
I tried to press my plants in a spot and then accidentally slipped and uh, pulled
Oh,
off one of my
yeah.
other plants.
That definitely happens. Slow and
Yeah.
steady.
Yep.
For sure. It's okay though. We'll work through it. No big deal.
Let's get this back in there.
You need to live there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Herb, how dare you? I just saw that. You might have said that earlier, maybe I missed it.
Wait,
But
what?
when I was younger, use quote last century. I mean, you're not wrong, but um,
Still, dude.
ow, ow.
Go for the jugular with that comment. My God.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you're not wrong, but I don't want to put it in that way. Like I'm more than willing to admit how old I am and that I am old or getting old at least. But
Older.
oh, we don't want to be oof. See now, why aren't you sticking? Why you got to be difficult like this?
Yeah, it'll take a little time to cure, but once it cures, it'll hold it nicely. Rory is like, "Hello."
Yeah, this is a whole new batch of stuff we are doing here that
Yeah.
the kitties have not seen before.
She got mad that I kicked her off the desk, but I'm not having her near this glue.
No, 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 no.
That's
Or
not a game I want to play.
I mean, the fact that they've already stolen some of your plants.
Exactly. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do is get a few more of these bushier tufts put in, and then let that cure on the base before next week. And then I'll go in and add the more defined leaf versions.
Mm.
Come on. No, I don't want you all grouping together.
Come on.
This is
stay.
why I like using E6000 so I can adjust as needed before it takes.
Mm. Come on, stick. Stay there. Oh yeah. The cipher just said I have my instructions to finish the flail snail, waiting for next week.
Nice.
Yeah, I am excited as well.
Me too.
When I was
All right,
pulling
let's
out
get
all the stuff so that we could finish the black dragon, uh, the the paints for the shell, the
Mm-hmm.
metallics were right there. And just like I can't
I
wait to
want to
do the
do that.
paints. It's gonna be
I want to
exciting.
do that. Yeah, it will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
let's try this.
One of these tufts just does not want to stay put.
I'm having a similar problem, and
Yeah.
I've decided I'm just going to move to a different tuft and
Yeah.
try a different tuft somewhere else.
Sometimes you do need to do that. Okay. So I think at this point I'm going to leave this to cure. But you can see how this gives it a really cool start to a funky base.
Yeah.
And then I can always go back in and do a little bit more. But we're getting close to finishing up the Dargan itself. So I'm going to move this into a place where it's safe for now, aka away from Rory. And then make sure my glue is capped nicely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is why I like cling wrap. Look at that. Just easy, whoop, moved and out of the way. I'm telling you, it's a much better way to protect your surface when you're doing that type of thing. And we'll go back to the dragon. And we're essentially at the point where we're going to do a little bit more dry brushing on the wings using Stonewall Gray. So, and Stonewall Gray is basically, what's funny is I used up my Stonewall Gray from the prismatic paints. But this is a ubiquitous color in Vallejo paints. You can find in a bunch of their different kits. So I just grabbed another bottle that I had of the Stonewall Gray of the same size.
All right.
Oh yeah, Heb. What's really fun is if you're doing an underwater adventure, I'm going to highly recommend you go to the aquarium aisle of a pet store, and you can find such cool terrain ideas just sitting in the aquarium decoration section.
Stonewall Gray. So I thought I actually was. I was very smart, and I put the Dargan way to the side so that I didn't accidentally get super glue on it or knock it over or whatever. And then I had a moment, literally just now, is like, okay, where's the dragon? Where did I put the dragon?
Where did I put my Dargan?
All right, dry brush.
Where's the child?
Dry brushing the wings.
Brush. So, yep.
And this is the part that we just did that's blue?
Yep.
Okay.
So we're going to go in and be a little bit heavier handed than just a light dry brush. We're going to go more towards that overbrush technique.
Okay.
I'll show you in just a second. So it's a heavier layer. Helps to be in frame. That we're putting on here. So what it's going to do is it's going to shift the upper portion of the wing texture to be more gray-like while keeping the more recessed areas in that darker blue. Or not the darker blue, in the Displacer Beast bluish tone, I should say.
I mean, in relation to what we've been doing, it's definitely a darker blue.
Yeah.
So I get that. Oh yeah, and since we are getting towards we're past the halfway point of today's episode, definitely it's a good time to remind everybody, if you do have any questions, go ahead and put those in chat with question in big capital letters so that Gabe can grab it and we can make sure we don't miss it while we are working on the Dargan.
Exactly.
And yeah.
Thank you, Gabe.
I've been very extra distracted by this dragon today, so I definitely don't want to miss any questions that might come in, whether it's about mini painting or Idle Champions.
Yep.
Definitely, if you do have questions about the collection and guide quests that are coming out, because that blog just came out, I do recommend check out the actual blog. That's going to have the most up-to-date information for the fun stuff that's gonna go live next week. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm very excited. That's gonna be an update that I think a lot of people are gonna really enjoy.
Well, it's like a cool quality of gameplay update.
Absolutely.
All right. So yeah, it's just basically working this around in the leathery part of the wings is really what we're doing.
I'm liking how this is looking too. That
Yeah.
is,
And this is, again, tapping into just because the creature is called black doesn't mean it has to be painted all black. It's fun to play off the various colors to sort of highlight the fact it's a darker creature
yeah.
without using black on every single piece.
'Cause that would be one dimensional. That would be
Yeah.
uh definitely not as interesting. See, now I really do want to do the silver dragon, if
Mm-hmm.
only to do this exact thing but reversed. So like, okay, we've got a black dragon.
Right.
Here's all the ways and colors that we're giving it texture and depth while still having it be a very dark colored creature. And so
Mm-hmm.
now here's the silver dragon, and essentially the same thing except making it giving it texture and depth while still having it be a mostly light colored creature.
Yeah.
I think that'd be very cool.
I mean, to be honest, for the silver dragon, you'd rely heavily on doing that shadow layer stuff that I like to do. I just did it with the commission piece I'm working on because it's pretty much a silver creature,
Yeah.
silver metallic creature.
Nemoto is we're an hour and a half in and we finally have someone. I see a red dragon and I want to paint it black. Yeah.
There we go. I always enjoy it when it gets to this stage of the wings.
Yeah, all the different detail that pops out is real
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I love this leathery texture and how clear it is.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
Now, getting to the inside of the wing is going to be an interesting challenge.
Hmm. And I'm also going to highlight these joints just a little bit more when my brush is not as loaded with the Stonewall Gray. And just sort of dry brush the joints with Stonewall Gray too, just to make them pop a little bit more.
Just the joints or the whole bits of
I tend to
the.
keep it like focused in the joint area rather than to take it to
Okay.
the full length. You can see right there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. But yeah, basically the name of the game for the rest of the show is this is what we're doing.
Well, the wings are big.
They
It's,
are.
it's a lot of coverage. And as I was showing off earlier, if you're being nice and slow and careful and happy with how things are going, it can take a little while,
Mm-hmm.
but that's half the fun.
Yeah, but I also want to make sure your wings had a chance to dry before we did this part. Otherwise, it would just muddy too much and not work
Yeah.
out nicely.
Nope, and I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
being able to do some of the other stuff with the teeth and the eyes. That is going to be my weekend homework, and I'm
There you
okay
go.
with that.
Aurora. No! Young lady, get down.
Mm.
Get your butt down. Good lord.
What did she
I'm
do?
gonna sit on the keyboard. It's her new move.
V, why are we suddenly offline? Well, the cat.
Well, Rory. In a word, Rory.
That's all right. Uh I have definitely accidentally caused things to happen because of my keyboard either
Mm.
hitting it or earlier today actually when I was clearing off the desks that I put down the paper
Oh.
towels and get ready for today's wonderful show. My keyboard fell over onto my foot. Ow.
Ow.
Which is fine. Like ow, but it's fine.
Yeah.
More importantly, all of a sudden in one of the chats in the work chat,
Is that what those two deleted messages were?
that's what they were. That's exactly what it was. Somehow falling onto my foot meant that
Oh, funny.
I they were just like dashes, but
Uh-huh.
somehow falling onto my foot went dash, enter. And I looked up and I'm like, well,
Okay.
that's all right. Okay, I guess those are going away. What's nope, nope, nope,
That's
nope.
funny.
So there you go. Now you know. Now you know.
I just figured like you had popped something into the wrong chat.
Yep. I mean, you're not wrong.
That's funny.
It was the wrong thing in the wrong chat. It was meant to
What's going on
go
here?
nowhere.
So sorry, I forgot I had adjusted my camera down to the table and I'm painting here. I'm like, why am I out of frame? Oh, because I didn't move the camera back up.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Okay.
Well, if it was going to send anything, at least it just sent a couple of dashes.
Exactly. Exactly. It was not a big deal. I knew no one was gonna I
Get
knew the
ya.
worst case scenario was gonna be basically what you just said, like,
Right.
oh, I noticed it, but I didn't think much of it, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Also, I do love Nemoto. Who added catnip to next quarter's budget? Well,
Yeah. Right?
mm,
This thing. Oh, God. Speaking of Rory and her, like, quirkyisms,
uh-oh.
I got the cats a new water fountain bowl. Basically keeps the water cycling and everything like that because Cotton has kidney stuff, so it's better for him to have, like, cycling water as opposed to still water.
Mm.
And got stainless steel and all of that and what have you. And I'm like, okay, this will be great. This will be wonderful. It has a lid. And within a couple of hours of this new fountain being out, Rory starts attacking it. Like, I'm not saying she taps the water and plays. No, she's attacking it to the point she knocks the lid off. I'm like, okay, she's just getting used to the new fountain, whatever.
Yeah.
So after a week of Rory seriously like trying to take the lid off of this fountain and like shooting it across the room until its electric cord doesn't give her any more option to shoot it across the room. I finally had
Jeez.
enough. I'm like, that's it. I'm just going back to the old bowl. It wasn't broken to begin with. I was just trying to find something that had a lid as opposed to an open bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I changed its location, and she hasn't attacked it since. Well, I had to return the fountain because obviously this is not actually cat use friendly.
Yeah.
The fact that
Or
she
at
can
least your
take the
cat.
lid off, yeah, right. But a cat shouldn't be able to take the lid off. Is the first thing I'm like, well, because that's what the motor's attached to. So it jumps the motor out of the water so it could burn out. I'm like, this flaw in design. Um, so while I'm letting the thing dry out on the countertop, all the bits and pieces, Miss Thing jumps up on my kitchen counter and runs off with the freaking filter that goes around the pump and does
Well, you
this two
stole
more
her kill.
times. Yeah, for some reason, whatever is in this filter that goes around the pump, that's what she's going after.
Jeez.
And not just like, oh, I'm going to just play around. It's like she goes into full on huntress mode, growls at me if I try and take it from her.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a special discovery. It's just like, of course you'd find issue with a new fountain for some reason or another.
I'm so fascinated by what it is that
I don't
has
know.
activated your cat.
I don't know why. Like, it's not like she saw it. I put this thing together while she was napping. So I don't know how she found it outside of it. Must have a scent.
Maybe, I don't know. And it's
It's
just the one
bizarre.
cat, not
Just
all
the
of
one.
them.
The other two stared at her like, girl, what is your problem? Like, they're sitting there watching her with their heads tilted in confusion, like, we just wanted a drink. What's up? Yeah.
That is so weird.
Rory going all out on the new water fountain was not on my bingo card
Mm-hmm.
at all. But
I mean, we'll
boy, was
probably
she
never
ready.
know, but I am fascinated of what it is that she has sensed or
I
smelled or what.
Whatever the smell is, she's like, I will have you as mine and I will kill you for it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry your water thing didn't work out,
Me
but
too. It was cool looking and it was quiet, like you couldn't hear the water falling like the other one did.
yeah.
Which was part of the reason why I was looking for a new one, because you could hear it like cycling the water. So it was like constantly having a fountain, like a decorative fountain in your house as opposed to a drinking fountain.
Mm. Which can be nice if that's what you want.
Right,
Like,
but
I,
when
I know
you're
plenty of people who
yeah.
like that kind of ambient noise, but if you don't,
It's also like it was near where the TV was, so you're trying to watch TV and you hear this water sound constantly. It was hard to hear some parts on the shows.
mm,
So I was like, "Oh, cool, quiet acting. I like that." And it was not quiet because she's freaking attacking this thing, and it's
hmm
stainless steel. So it's like ting 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 ting. It's just like
wow,
what?
that's amazing.
Yeah, she was hardcore vendetta against the new fountain. Yep.
That's Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're probably right. It had either a
A
smell
smell to it.
or and it just happened to be the kind of smell that
Mm-hmm.
she specifically was nope, nope, not in my house, not
Like,
not under my roof.
yeah. Part of me is like, would they put catnip on the filter to make the fountain appealing? If so, bad idea. Design flaw.
But also if it was catnip, wouldn't her
You would think the
reaction
other
would be
two would also kind of get into it.
yeah, be all three of them and then
Yeah.
also her reaction wouldn't be
Oh
as
no,
much of an aggressive, would it?
no, she doesn't mellow out with catnip. Girl goes the opposite direction.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh
She's
no.
she's special with catnip.
So yeah, it can't be, but so it can't be the catnip for sure
Yeah.
because otherwise you'd have
All three of them
three different
reacting to it,
cats
yeah.
having a reaction. Yeah.
Like you give Rory catnip and she's tasting the schnozberries everywhere in the house.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She has to check out everything because everything looks amazing. She doesn't mellow out like the other two do.
I did go down a rabbit hole a while back
Mm-hmm.
of um big cats getting catnip, lions,
Oh, funny.
tigers,
Yeah, yeah,
the big cats. And
yeah.
obviously most of them were like in shelters or
Mm-hmm.
in zoos and things like that. So like,
Right.
oh, here's a fun thing, here's a thing with catnip and watching, you know, massive deadly hunter cats just
Gorgeous.
rolling over in and being like, ah,
Yep.
just joyful play. It was
Yeah.
it was super fun.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah.
Um,
Nathalis is right. Catnip has all effects. It's specific to how each cat sort of reacts to it. See, now you're sitting there looking all angelic, Miss Thing. I'm
mhm.
onto your tricks. I'm onto your tricks a little bit.
Listen, they know when you're on stream. They
Mm-hmm.
know when they're gonna have the chat behind them.
Right.
They're they're here for it. They've got the timing down and everything.
I'm just glad I never got into the habit of giving them treats while I'm streaming.
Mm. Yeah.
Because they would be unbearable every single time I'd sit down at a desk. Like, oh, we get treats now? Mama treats now?
Mm-hmm. Poor Kelly, the opera geek
With
with her
Scotty. Yeah.
with Scotty, who has just definitely learned, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, when Kelly sits here and talks to this computer thing, that's
I
when I
get
can
the
get
yum
treats.
yums. Yep.
And it's adorable, but also
But also, yeah.
like, who has trained who here?
Yep. Little bit of column A, little bit of column B.
Hmm.
Correct responses both have been trained.
Yep. Yep. It's a mutual treat admiration
Oh,
society.
totally. Like I was watching an Instagram reel and it said if you want to get yourself into a habit, start giving your cat a treat as you're developing this habit. and they will
Oh,
start reminding you when it's time to start and do the thing. Like whether it's like, give the cat a treat before you go out and take a walk, or give the cat a treat before you go and do this certain task that you want to get better at, making sure you remember to do. Like if you have to take
interesting.
medication, like give the cat a treat, and the cat will become your own built-in alarm, essentially.
That's actually a really good
Yeah.
idea. I like that a lot.
Quickly check something.
All right, I think I got all the sides. It's
I
interesting in
still
this
have
light on my camera, it
yellow.
almost looks brighter, but once
Yeah.
again, the color is misleading on my camera. Also, the sun came out, and so now
Oh
I
yeah.
am no
Here
longer in
comes
Seattle.
the sun.
So
Doo-doo-doo-doo. Totally.
let's see. Oh, actually, since you're still working on the dry brushing, maybe this is an
You could do
opportunity
your
for
eyes.
me
Yeah.
to catch up on the
Yeah.
teeth.
There you go.
Where is my dead flesh?
Oh, zombie!
Come here, dead flesh. You and I are gonna have a chat.
And suddenly Lauren is a mad scientist. Where did my dead flesh go?
Rex Verity says this is how my dad got his cat to have him stop using the snooze button on his alarm.
Oh.
That makes sense. That's
Yeah.
cool. Teamwork makes the getting up in the morning work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, chompers, let's do this.
So yeah, we'll have some carryover of this fellow next week with the flail snail, because I do want to get a black wash on this.
Oh yeah,
So we'll do a
that totally
black
makes
wash
sense.
first thing, and then we'll go into working on the flail snail and such. So we'll be kind of rotating through different minis at the same time.
I'll set up a little stand right here and be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is where I will put the mini that is sitting, waiting
Yep.
patiently.
Bless you, honey.
There's the disgusting chompers. There we go.
Those disgusting chompers.
Well, I hadn't been worried about the teeth, like you'd said when we did the
Right.
red. And so chompers. It's upside down just because that's how I'm holding it. So you
Right.
just,
Ampa champa.
did I get all of them? Oh, that's a tooth. That's a tooth I missed.
Ooh, piece of tooth. Ooh, piece of tooth.
All right, and then dot the I, eh?
Mm-hmm. However you'd like. You can use your toothpick trick that I know you like to do.
Hmm.
If you
I think
want to
I
do it with a detail
might.
brush, you can.
Yeah, I think I'll actually maybe I want to use an actual brush. Like it's a relatively large eye socket comparatively to some of the other creatures that we have
Mm-hmm.
done, but the shape of it is making me think. Let me let me ponder for a second here.
Dwell upon it.
Um, and did you
Mull on
use
it.
use the off-white for the dot?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
The eyes are dotted with off-white.
All right. Here we
So
go.
that's
Every,
sinister.
everybody,
Quiet on the set.
send me good luck on eyes.
Quiet on the set. Good news is, worst case scenario, just black out the eyes again and start over.
That's true. That is true.
Yep. And these sockets are slightly more forgiving.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah?
I got a fix where accidentally got a little bit of the white on the brow,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I got dots, and they are nice dots, and they are looking forward.
And
They are
then mission accomplished.
they are not wall-eyed. They're not.
Even better.
I'd be even okay with a side eye, but yeah. Let me just fix this. There we go. Look at that. Ah.
There we go. Nice.
I am. I went with the toothpick, and I'm glad that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oof.
How you doing?
I think I'm good. I think well, and now actually, just because for some reason I was a little faster with the dry brushing, I have now
You're
caught up,
caught
I
up.
think.
Sweet.
Hey, no homework for me.
No homework for you. Okay, so yeah, what we want to do now is let this dry. And we'll start off with a black wash on the dragon, first thing next episode. Then we'll move into finishing up the base, putting a couple more things on that, and then we'll shift over to painting the flail snail, where we let everything for the black dragon dry. And at the very end of the next episode, we'll attach the black dragon to their base. Is really what the game plan's going to be. But
Sounds like a good plan to me.
We're in some pretty good shape, yeah. Reason why I'm not doing the black wash right now is because this is still all too fresh to try and put a wash on. It's going to blur it and muddy it all together. But what the black wash is going to do is it's going to bring everything down a little bit in terms of color intensity and start making this look a little bit more grayed out and intensifying the black, and you'll end up with a very black looking black dragon.
Hmm.
So
Are we going to be doing a wash on any other part of the body or just the wings?
just basically we'll do a wash on, well, actually, no, the whole thing. So it'll be the whole entire body. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we were going to do a black
Nope,
wash
we'll still do it
or
on
a different kind of wash. Yeah,
No,
that's what I was thinking
whole
of, was the
thing's
under.
black wash. Yeah. So that'll be good.
Excellent.
Yes, so we're gonna let this fellow dry now, and we will see you next week, because I can't believe we're already getting to that time.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Also,
next week.
imaginal disc. It says, applying a wash too soon ruins your paint job. Ask me how I know. I'm there with you. I've done that before. Yep. Been too quick. Yep.
Eeps.
So yeah. Better to be patient and wait until next week.
Patience, grasshopper for sure on that one. Oh no. Sorry to hear that, imaginal disc. That's always so frustrating when that happens too.
Yep.
Okay, so
It's
then
learning experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who are painting along with us, basically have your stuff for your black dragon ready to go in terms of the black wash is all you're going to need for the paint parts. And then those little bits and pieces of the E6000, your aquarium plants, and your base itself, because we'll finish adding some more onto this, because right now I'm letting this all cure up and get settled before I try and add in a couple more pieces around in this section, because I don't want to force things out of place from just the bulk of the pieces. So we'll finish adding some more plants to the base, and then when that's all kind of curing and drying, we'll go back to our lovely little flail snail. So we'll have fun finishing that up too. And then at the very end, we'll just start assembling all the pieces together is really what it's going to boil down to. It should be a lot of fun. But
I think that's the other reason why letting the plants really have a good chance to cure is I imagine putting the dragon on the base.
Want those dry, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to have to do what I accidentally did earlier, which is while putting one thing on, make another thing knocked off. So there you go.
Yep, exactly. All right, so don't forget it is the weekend. So make sure you check out our latest champion launched in the game. Dynahair is out and about during Fleet's Wake. Definitely play through and have some fun unlocking this champion in what's essentially the last version for events 1.0, getting this champion taken care of. And then don't forget, if you have signed up for, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where did it go? Oh,
Are you okay?
yeah, Rory did a thing.
Oh, did they delete a scene?
She moved a scene. So
Rory wanted to be a producer.
apparently.
I want to be a producer.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
also, it's the weekend, which means if you've signed up for our newsletter, you should be getting the Compatriots Call weekend newsletter your way. That comes with a free gold calling chest. I'm sorry, the sending stones talking to each other is everything.
Yeah.
So that should be waiting for you in your inbox soon, if not already. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, that's just logging into the game, getting yourself set up for the newsletter, and we'll start sending you something once a week about the weekend buffs and the free chests. Every once in a blue moon, we'll send you an update about something happening in the game as well. But again, it usually comes with something free in that newsletter too. So basically, when we want to talk to you, we give you something.
Yeah.
Is really what it boils down to.
Thank you for sharing your email address with us. We will
Yes.
only ever use it for good.
Yes, exactly. And thanks to Gabe for helping us out in the chat, especially when Lauren and I were so focused on a bunch of different things, pulling those questions from the chat so that we could tap into those. And for everyone who's watching, thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you have a wonderful start to your weekend, or soon we'll have a start to your weekend. I mean, you're all in different time zones. I know we're at various degrees of where you're sitting on your Friday, but we appreciate that you do spend it with us every week. So until next week, take care, everyone, and we'll see you on the flip side. Okay, good. It's right there. Bye!